Star Trek Vendetta is a novel written by Peter David, first published in 1999. It is set in the Star Trek, The Next Generation (TNG) universe and primarily focuses on the crew of the USS Enterprise D under Captain Jean-Luc Picard. The story, which is a substantial part of the Star Trek lore, revolves around the long-standing conflict between the Federation and the Borg, and how it impacts the lives of the crew members, particularly Picard, who has a deeply personal history with the Borg due to his assimilation as Locutus in the TNG episode, The Best of Both Worlds. Plot overview. The novel begins with the revelation that a new Borg Queen is leading a massive and terrifying new offensive against the Federation. This Queen is determined to destroy the Federation and its allies, but she is also focused on a more personal vendetta, her desire for revenge against Jean-Luc Picard. In Vendetta, the Borg's obsession with assimilation is matched by a deep-seated grudge against the Captain, stemming from his past encounters with the Collective. The novel weaves together Picard's past as Locutus of Borg with the present-day threat posed by this new, vengeful Queen. The story picks up after the events of Star Trek, First Contact, where the Borg were defeated, but not eliminated. The Borg Queen in this novel is portrayed as even more ruthless, more cunning, and with a terrifying sense of purpose. She's determined to exact revenge on the Federation, and specifically Picard, whose role as Locutus continues to haunt her. The Borg Queen's Vendetta. This new Borg Queen, who was once a part of a much earlier Borg collective, is not simply interested in assimilation, but in complete destruction and eradication. She views Picard as a symbol of the failure of the Borg to achieve their ultimate goal of perfection. Her vendetta is deeply personal. She wants to destroy the Federation as punishment for the defeat that Picard and the crew of the Enterprise D inflicted on the Borg during the events of The Best of Both Worlds and First Contact. The novel delves into the psychology of the Borg Queen, exploring her motivations and her determination to annihilate the Federation and especially Picard. The Queen's vendetta against Picard is not just a matter of revenge for the Borg's previous defeats, but a more philosophical battle against a being who once represented her vision of the ultimate collective perfection and yet broke free. Picard's struggle. Captain Picard's personal struggles are a major part of the narrative. His traumatic past with the Borg is a consistent theme throughout the novel. As Locutus, Picard was used by the Borg to communicate with the Federation, and the shame and the pain of those experiences continue to haunt him. Throughout Vendetta, Picard is forced to confront his fears and the lingering trauma of being assimilated. His past experiences with the Borg are brought to the forefront as he and the crew of the Enterprise D try to stop this new Queen. Picard's inner turmoil is highlighted as he grapples with guilt and the memories of being a tool of the Borg, feeling a constant need to prove himself to the Federation, to his crew, and to himself. His relationship with his officers, particularly with Commander Riker, Data, and Dr. Beverly Crusher, becomes vital as the narrative unfolds, providing both emotional support and strategic counsel. The return of the Borg. The Enterprise D must face the revived threat of the Borg in full force. The Queen assembles a new, more powerful version of the Borg collective, which is far more dangerous than before. As the novel progresses, the crew of the Enterprise must navigate through a series of escalating crises, facing battles and internal struggles to prepare for the Queen's ultimate attack on Earth. The Borg no longer simply want to assimilate the Federation, they want to destroy it entirely. A new element in the novel is the introduction of the Vorta, a species from the Gamma Quadrant that has ties to the Borg. The Vorta reveal that the Borg Queen's vendetta is not just an isolated grudge but is part of a larger, more insidious plot that spans across multiple species and realities. The Vorta, with their vast knowledge of Borg tactics, play an essential role in the conflict. The final confrontation. The climax of Vendetta is a high-stakes showdown between the Enterprise D and the Borg. As the Enterprise attempts to protect Earth from the Borg Queen's destructive plans, Picard and the crew must deal with the psychological toll of facing the Borg once again. The novel brings full circle the exploration of how Picard's encounter with the Borg has defined much of his life, both in terms of his personal history and his leadership role in the Federation. The final confrontation with the Borg Queen is intense, with Picard forced to confront both the external threat of the Borg and his internal struggles with his past. Ultimately, the Federation's defeat of the Borg in Vendetta is bittersweet, as it is made clear that the trauma of their previous encounters has left deep scars on Picard and his crew. The Queen's death does not bring a complete sense of resolution for Picard, but rather a reminder that the scars of the past are difficult to heal. Themes and analysis. Vendetta explores several deep themes. The legacy of the Borg. The novel examines how the Borg represent an ever-present threat to the Federation and the psychological toll their interactions have had on individuals, especially Picard. It is not just a physical battle, but one that deeply affects the minds of those involved. Revenge and vendettas. The concept of revenge is central to the plot, particularly through the motivations of the Borg Queen. Her vendetta against Picard is not simply about power. It's about settling a personal score, and this exploration of vengeance adds depth to the Borg's motivations. Identity and trauma. Picard's personal trauma from his time as Locatus of Borg is a recurring element in the novel. The emotional scars of being assimilated and used as a tool by the Borg are explored in depth, questioning the nature of identity and what it means to heal from such an experience. The cost of leadership. As a leader, Picard is forced to make difficult decisions, and Vendetta highlights how his leadership is shaped by the painful experiences he's endured. It questions the personal sacrifices that come with holding a position of power, especially when confronting forces as overwhelming as the Borg. Conclusion. Star Trek: Vendetta is a compelling and action-packed novel that combines personal conflict with high-stakes space warfare. Peter David does an excellent job in exploring the psychological impact of the Borg on the Enterprise D crew, especially Picard, while also delivering a thrilling story about the Federation's battle against a relentless enemy. The book provides a deeper understanding of the Star Trek universe, particularly the lingering effects of the Borg threat on those who have experienced it firsthand. It's a must-read for fans of Star Trek: The Next Generation, offering a more intimate, emotional narrative about the legacy of the Borg and the resilience of those who fight them.